Welcome back to the Morning Point Show. Good Humans 268 needs your help. And they're asking one simple question. Here with us this morning is founding president Joshua Francis, and I have a survey in front of me that I'm going to complete on air. She said, I picked up my phone before we came back on, and she said, no, wait till we get on air to complete the survey.
You can show people how quick it is. So one of the things that we've been doing is we would like individuals to share. It's on our Facebook. I've blasted it on our WhatsApp. We want you to share it all your WhatsApp group chats, your family chat, the chat, they chat all the business. Post it in there. Post it in your work chat. The survey is literally going to take you less than 30 seconds. We're asking one question, and we're hoping to get to the place of changing legislation in Antigua and Barbuda. I will say to anybody, I want to change 2 laws. I want the Disability Act enforced.
And you want?
I want the Environmental Act enforced, and I also want it changed. I want us to get to the place where we have a 3-bin system. So we have a bin for recycling, a bin for composting, and a bin for general waste. I've seen it happen in DC. It happens in so many places. And the idea is to get Antigua and Barbuda on the map when it comes to waste management. So this one question survey is getting feedback from consumers, because we've been talking about it for the last 3 years. But how do you feel as a consumer? Do you think, which is one question, do you think the people who produce waste should pay for waste? That is simply it.
So if you can zoom in on my phone here, I think this is my single camera. This is a single question. You know, most surveys take you about 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes to complete. This is
one question.
One question.
And so you put in your email, because we're collecting your email, and then you literally click yes or no.
And I'm clicking yes because the people who generate the waste should pay to help manage the waste that they generate.
That's it.
That's it.
I'm done. Done.
I'm done. That's all it is. I'm done. The survey is done. So why did you decide to ask this one question survey? Because I know surveys are usually 3, 4, 5, 6 questions trying to garner different things about different things. So why did you guys decide to go with your one question survey?
People are tired and busy, and what we want to do is an in-out mission, get some feedback, and from the feedback we garner, we're going to be able to get individuals on point now. Literally, come on.
Clack it.
We're going to know, how does the majority of the population see waste? Because at this point, we do not have that baseline data. We're making an assumption that people understand waste and understand who should pay for it. So from the time you read the one question, your brain goes into overdrive. Who should really pay for waste? And then the individuals who say yes, the strategy or approach that we will have for those individuals are going to be different than the individuals who say no. And the reality is, we do have a subsection of the population who is going to say no, because we have a subsection of the population that believes the government should do it all. So the approach that we have for someone who says yes is going to be different than the approach of someone who says no. The approach for a 4-year-old is going to be different than an approach for a 40-year-old. So I was right here on point, and I was explaining, run the calculations, 30,000 homes, $45 per month, we're at $16,200,000 per year. If, hypothetically, next year we're able to convince our government to implement this legislation, shout out to Dominica. Dominica is currently doing it. St. Kitts and Nevis is doing it. Barbados is doing it. It's happening internationally. We get a 3-bin system, but we don't have money.
So before we go into that, let's talk about the bin system, because you said we need a 3-bin system.
Correct.
What do we currently have?
A 1-bin system.
A 1-bin system. And explain the difference between having a 1-bin system and what we want in having a 3-bin system.
The 1-bin system is our regular blue barrels that we all have. Our granny or our cousin sent us a barrel with some food.
You dig some hole in the bottom.
Now we dig some hole in the bottom, and that barrel is now our garbage bin.
Right.
We want to move away from that 1-bin system, and we want to get 3 bins. So we want recycling, composting, and general waste. So recycling is, we're talking about cans, bottles, glass would go into that bin. Cardboard, we should get to the place of we're doing cardboard and paper. And then composting is any of our organic waste. So we're talking about that banana peel, that carrot peel, and then anything else that cannot be composted or recycled would go into general waste. So now we have a 1-bin system, so we have a 1-truck system.
So everything goes into everything.
And everything goes to the landfill. To a 3-bin system, now we need 3 different trucks. We need 3 different staff. we need 3 different end places. So the idea is from the revenue that we generate from this server, we get the information. Okay, now if we have 50 business places saying yes, maybe we can do a pilot there. If we have a community and the majority of the community saying yes, maybe we can do a pilot there. But I will say to anybody, I don't even think we need a pilot. We just need to buy the bins and implement it. People are going to, I'm going to sit here and we're going to get a backlash. We're going to have people who are going to get on social media, they're going to call into all the radio stations and they're going to curse. However, what we have to do is coming back to education, is educating these people that the reason we're doing this is for the betterment of Antigua and Barbuda.
Correct. So with the 3-bin system, of course, that incurs a cost, which leads to the question in the survey. Are those who are generating the waste, are they the ones who should be paying for it? So far, what has been the preliminary data that you've gathered in terms of what people are thinking and where their minds are at?
The majority of people are saying yes, and that is also because we've done a very good job of telling people you're responsible for your waste. Right. Now you're seeing a survey, and we do have a few people saying no, but the majority of individuals are saying yes. And if you were to think, because I will say to anybody, reason for one question, people are not thinking deeply about waste, because for years, we have done a 1-bin system. We know the garbage truck comes and pick it up and it's done. We are now coming along and saying, any event promoter, yes, you are paying to collect your waste and to clean up the grounds. I am now coming along and saying, you have been doing it, you can do it even better. So instead of having 1 big skip, you would now need 3 big skips. We're saying, Carnival, I'm calling out all of the mass troops. Carnival is going to be in the next few weeks. Is it fair that these mass troops, because we've done it with them, we've done it with Miss, we've done it with Insane, we've done it with Dumpstream, we've done it with CIBC Jam for a Cure. We were behind the trucks and we were able to separate the waste. Is it fair that you as a mass troop, you buy all of this rum, all of this water, and then you leave it on the streets for our government to pay workers to pick it up? Think about it, a costume, you know, last.
Costume bucks. So since the costumes are costing $600, how many blocks would it take for them to pay to pick up their waste?
You're not going to put to this. I will say to anybody, like, when you look at social media, right, I cannot believe the amount of memes and the things that blew up from this comment. But it also shows you that in Antigua and Barbuda, you're not allowed to have a different opinion. It never told anybody not to buy your costume. It said that your costume costs 600 blocks, and you can do what you want with that information. And the reality is, we do have a subsection of the population. You can afford your costume and you can afford the 600 blocks. But we have a subsection of the population who cannot. And I am saying, let us get on the 600 blocks. The $2,000 that one mass troop is paid, you paid for one costume. Is it fair that you leave all of your garbage on the street and now our government, our taxpayers have to pay people to pick up that garbage? It is unfair. Right. You as the mass troop should pay a team to walk at the back of your mass troop. We're going to call these team green teams, because you generated that waste. That waste belongs to you and your patrons, and you should have green teams. And what should happen, we did it with Oasis. So Oasis paid us, so we were on the truck for Miss, we were on the truck for Insane, we were on the truck, so we know it can work. You would need between 4, and the bigger the band, obviously the bigger the team.
Correct.
Because if you have 1 drinks truck, you only need 2 people on the truck. But if you have 4 drinks truck, that means automatically you need a team of 8. Then you still need people on the ground. However, the cost you're going to pay for those individuals, because you normally pay individuals who work these events between $200 to $250, pay for the garbage bag and pay for the truck, it would not even equivalent to what one person has paid. And my fight and my rationale is, we as a country, I'm not calling the Prime Minister, I'm not calling the Minister of Health, I'm calling out the mass troop owners, I'm calling out the FET promoters. You don't know, so I'm not blaming you right now. But is it fair that all of the waste that you generate from your event, you send it to the landfill, and then the people at 5 Islands and Grace Farm, there's a fire, because we've had 4 fires this year, and an oil spill. Is it fair to that subsection of the population? The system isn't perfect, but we have systems in place where the food scrap can be composted. Raw Compost Factory and the Antigua and Barbuda Waste Recycling Corporation will take all of your plastic and all of your aluminum.
And you said earlier that we're looking at cardboard
Correct.
as well. We are under the path of looking for cardboard and glass too. So those would be recycled, and then we have the compost, and then we have the general waste that which can be taken
To the landfill.
to the landfill. And you know, we're talking about waste, and people are like, oh, it's just garbage. But we live on an island that's 108 square miles. Explain to us why it's not just garbage.
Because our garbage is just being buried. And it's not in Antigua, so I don't want people to feel like, oh, it's just Antigua. Garbage is normally buried. So, random fact, if you didn't know, when the garbage truck takes your garbage from your house, it goes to the landfill, and what we've been doing is we've been burying the garbage. And garbage is buried over time, so every time you put a new load, you're supposed to put some soil over it. You dump some more, and you keep putting soil over it, and that's what happens at a landfill. I had the pleasure of seeing the landfill in Uzbekistan, and it's the same thing there. I've had the pleasure of seeing a transfer station in DC. I've been to Jamaica and Barbados. It's the same process everywhere. However, what some countries are moving towards, of instead of sending everything to the landfill to be buried, is that you separate it from source. So that means all of your glass, all of your plastic, your cardboard, you're going to separate it from the source. And at this point, the source is your households, your business, your event, and you are going to ensure it is diverted correctly. We can provide jobs for individuals with disability. We can unlock a $53 million industry, and we can change the concept of tourism. Can you imagine for Chogam? I have a meeting with the Tourism Authority coming up. Every hotel in this country, from the time the first delegation reach, we are going to put a system in place that every glass, every plastic, every food scrap that is used during Chogam, it doesn't end up in our landfill.
Right.
Can you imagine the branding that we can do? That as a country, we didn't just invite thousands of people and then burden our landfill. As a country, we were strategic, and the glass was recycled, the plastic was recycled, and then the food scraps was turned into compost.
Because the whole thing is resilient prosperity. And in order to be resilient, in order to be prosperous, you have to have that element of sustainability. So I'm looking forward to having you back and you telling us more about that meeting and the results of that meeting.
It's going to be great, Chanel.
I know it's going to be great.
I know it's going to be great.
What this reminds me of is when we were in school, remember environment cadets? Remember how they had us in our uniform walking around and picking up plastic bottles?
Remember when the plastic-free initiative, I want people to think back to the time.
That was a time.
When you passed across Fresh and Easy, there were just thousands of bottles. When you pass across Epicurean, going back to enforcing legislation, I would like our government to enforce that legislation. You know why? We're going to have a cleaner Antigua and Barbuda. People need an incentive, and the plastic-free initiative was able to give that incentive. And the idea is to change the narrative surrounding waste.
And unfortunately, we are out of time this morning, but I know you will definitely be back, because this is a conversation that requires a little bit more than 10 to 15 minutes. This is something that we really have to flesh out, because, I mean, I remember when I was in school, they had us...
Chanel, I need a more show.
At this point,
I need a waste management show. Come on, come and talk about waste.
It's very important. They had us walking around picking up plastic bottles and aluminum cans, because it was an incentive, and you were also learning. I told somebody the other day, I do a lot of hood rat stuff, but littering is where I draw the line, because of what I grew up with and the messaging that came from that. So I see elements of that in what you and your team are doing. So just before we go, I'm going to give you about 15 seconds. Tell us where we can complete the survey and what people can do to support the mission of Good Humans.
The survey is on our social media platform, so we're encouraging individuals to share it in the group chat, share it in your family chat, share it in your work chat. It's one question. It's going to take you less than 30 seconds. We want to get to the place where we have feedback from thousands of Antiguans and Barbudans. Who do you think should pay for waste?
Dr. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. I took the survey. Dr. E took the survey before he went. We're going to let Lennox take the survey now. All of us at PBN are going to take the survey this morning, and we're encouraging you to do the same. And we're also encouraging you to stay with us, because the Morning Point Show will be right back.